It's live. It's local. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers.
All right, and welcome in, everybody. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. We are off and rolling, a much shorter show today. You, the listeners, are the real winners in that. We're going to hand it off to Reds baseball coming up here in about 40 minutes. The Reds somehow are looking to sweep the Dodgers, Kev. How about that? The horrible Cincinnati Reds are, I remember at the beginning I joked I wasn't calling a sweep. I really should pump my chest, but I'm not one to brag. I'm not one to do the whole I told you so. But I did say on Monday, it's just not like me. I said typical Reds, it would be so Cincinnati to sweep the Dodgers. And yet they're 9 innings, well, knowing them, probably 10 or 12 innings away from having an opportunity to do that. The Reds are going for the sweep against the defending World Series champion, the Dodgers. And it got me to thinking last night while I was watching the pregame ceremony where they are awarding Trevor Bauer the Cy Young. I had no issue with it until you brought up a lot of good points. And usually, I have to argue with everything, but you swayed me to have a problem with it because I started seeing people on social media, Kev, do this whole thing where they were saying, man, that was really cool of the Dodgers to wait until the Reds were in town to do this. Now, I have to ask, what do you mean it was nice of the Dodgers to wait for the Reds to hold this Cy Young ceremony? Shouldn't that be the Reds ceremony to have? I don't really know how many times this has happened in the past, but we've talked about it in the NBA when they do their championship ring ceremonies. They will wait for that particular team to come to their home city, and then they'll honor them with the ring. So like the Lakers, they did their big ring ceremony to open up the season. Yep. And then when Philadelphia came into town, Dwight Howard then got his ring ceremony. It wasn't when the Lakers went to Philly. Right. It wasn't, oh man, I'm so glad the Sixers were kind enough to award him his championship ring with the Lakers. No. So I don't understand. I don't get the rule there. Why were the Dodgers in control of when he got to receive his Cy Young award? Because to me, it should have been when the Dodgers returned to Cincinnati to play. Very strange. But yeah, you did get me to sway.
Dude, I think that is so foul, man. Obviously we talked about it yesterday a little bit with the fans. They're a part of that. They're a part of this ceremony because they root on for the Cincinnati Reds and obviously his other teammates. Yes, he was the catalyst because he's the guy throwing the ball, but there's guys in the outfield that have made diving catches, that have made double plays to help him have great stats throughout the season. So it's not only honoring him, it's honoring the rest of his teammates as well and honoring them at the team that you actually made that accomplishment. You didn't make that accomplishment with the Dodgers. You didn't make that accomplishment with any of those guys on that team. That ceremony should have took place in Cincinnati with the Cincinnati Reds fans, with his former teammates. That's how it should have been done.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it was pretty cool seeing him kind of side by side with Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray. He was really close. Look, I was not a fan. Trevor Bauer drove me crazy, mainly because 2 years ago, after he came from Cleveland, and at the halfway point, he was a very cocky individual, still is. But you're allowed to be cocky when you're a Cy Young winning pitcher. You're allowed to be cocky when you have an ERA under 1. You're allowed to be cocky for a lot of those reasons. The problem is he was very cocky coming off of that half a season with the Reds initially where he was just straight garbage. I remember having Marty Brennaman on the show last summer when he called him out because I remember Trevor Bauer went on this little rant about how the worst thing about baseball is the announcers who are critical of their teams. And, of course, that was an indirect shot at Marty Brennaman. Right. I brought that up to Marty Brennaman in our conversation last year, and Marty went off. Of course, Marty said he thought it was pretty. Remember that? Yes. He goes, I thought it was pretty weak. He literally said, I thought it was weak that he didn't call me by name and that he had to insinuate or whatever. He goes, but Trevor Bauer should have known better than anybody how critical I am because his ass was in the inning by the third dugout. Of course, talking about the first half a season that Trevor Bauer played with the Reds, of course, the second full season. Look, the Reds were going all in last year. The run they're making right now, or it's not really a run, but now they're coming out of the 7-game losing streak. Those were the expectations last year of what they were expecting to do with Trevor Bauer. Right. But nonetheless, Trevor Bauer had a fantastic season. But you're allowed to be cocky when you back it up. But obviously, he's no longer with the Reds. Somehow the Reds are knocking on the door of potentially sweeping the Dodgers coming up here in just about under an hour. First pitch, 4:10 will be the first pitch. Unbelievable, though. And it's again, it's a 162-game season. This is a part of it. but there was a lot of ugly in that 7-game losing streak, and some of that ugly has presented itself in the first 2 games that they've been able to eke out some wins. But again, they're winning with the back half of the rotation, and they're losing with their main guys that they should be winning. If they could piece it together, if they could win with Sonny Gray on the mound, if they could win with Luis Castillo and these main guys on the mound, that would be great. Like that would be super. But wins are wins right now. It put an end to the 7-game losing streak, and they're going for a sweep today. But most importantly, they did get a series win. I had them getting swept by the Dodgers, Kev, but my prediction of 14-11, that's out the window.
Wrong again. You don't have to make excuses for winning. Baseball is a very long season. It's a long game. So when you're able to get wins, when you're able to get them, take them.
Yep.
I'm talking about the team that I root for, the Cleveland baseball team. I know they play in the AL Central. I know right now they're playing the Minnesota Twins. I know the Twins are garbage. They're on the verge of sweeping the Twins tonight, hopefully. I don't care. Rack up the wins versus the bums when you can. And in the Reds case, hey, let's just play pretend. Let's say the Dodgers are sleepwalking. They're still hungover from their series with the Padres and all the hype from that. So what? Beat them. Rack up the wins, because at the end of the season, all these wins are going to tally up, and that's going to tell the story if you make the playoffs or not. So whatever the Dodgers got going on, that's their problem. That ain't got nothing to do with what we got going on with the Cincinnati Reds. If they don't want to play, bleep them. We gonna play. We gonna win.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds, of course. And right now, another player I've been very critical of was Jesse Winker coming in. I know Jesse Winker can hit, but I was always bothered when people would say he's the best hitter on the team. And my big thing on that is you cannot be considered the best hitter on a team when the second that a righty or a lefty shows up onto the mound, we have to take you out right away. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that's what happened last night. He got taken out. I mean, he got pinch hit for late in the game last night. I'm like, he's your best hitter. He's literally almost hitting 400 right now, Kev. He's hitting 397. He is absolutely crushing the ball right now. I love the job that Jesse Winker is doing, hitting 397. So here are your team leaders right now as they look to wrap up this series with the Dodgers. We're wrapping up the month of April. After this game with the Dodgers, they'll only have 1 game remaining with the Chicago Cubs. But right now you have Jesse Winker leading the team with an average of 397. Nick Castellanos has 7 home runs. Tyler Naquin has 19 RBIs to lead that category. Jesse Winker has, of course, leads the team in hits with 29 total hits. On base percentage, 0.44. So right now he is absolutely rolling. The guy that is just stinking it up is Eugenio Suarez. Mm-hmm. David Bell would not initially call it a benching yesterday. He is back in the lineup today. But Eugenio Suarez, my concern is this isn't a slow start. I keep seeing the Suarez apologists on Twitter and social media. This struggle goes back to last year. Like, a lot of guys struggled last year offensively, but every one of them has been able to hit their way out of that struggle. The only guy that is continuing to play bad is Suarez. And at what point do you go from being one of the hottest hitters in baseball for a year or two span to being one of the worst? At some point, this isn't a slump. At some point, this is just who he is. And I'm hoping that is not the case, because I lost my mind when his name was brought up in trade conversations in the offseason. And now it's like, man, maybe the Reds are sitting there saying, well, we're backlogged at third base and second base. Maybe we should have moved on from him. I'm not there yet, but I really do hope that Suarez hits out of this, because we're going to get to a certain point where this is no longer a slump. He is hitting 131 on the season. He's drawn 10 walks, but he has struck out, Kev, 37 times. He has struck out 37 times in 1 month. I'm sorry, that can't happen. I hope he hits out of that soon.
That's not a good look at all. It's not a good look for the team. It's not a good look, especially when he was in trade rumors earlier in the offseason and everything like that. And when you're in a slump like that, and the team is on a 7-game losing streak, obviously they just won the last 2 and everything broke out of it, all eyes are on you. Maybe people are starting to look around the organization like, man, maybe we should have dumped them when we had a chance. But, baseball is a streaky sport. It does, you have a long time. Technically, it's still only April. So I would give them more time. I would give them, mid-May before I say, like, all right, man, sit next to me.
The Cincinnati Reds are 11-12. They are only ahead of the Cubs in the NL Central right now. That's how bad that 7-game losing streak was, because they were sitting pretty at the top. Well, not really sitting pretty, but you're always pretty when you're on the top, apparently, when it's standings wise. Shut up. I'm immature. I couldn't help it. I didn't try to say anything stupid, but then my head's like, yeah, anyways, that's what she said. I need to grow up very quickly. Anyways, but the Reds are 11-12. I buried them saying, they can't go 14-11, but they actually can finish the month with a winning record.
Yeah.
They're 11-12. If they complete the sweep of the Dodgers today, they're off tomorrow, and then they will have, of course, Friday against the Cubs, and then that's it. So the last game of April is Friday at Great American Ballpark against the Cubs. So if they can get a win today to complete the sweep of the Dodgers and then take that momentum into game 1 against the Cubs at Great American Ballpark, now all of a sudden the Cincinnati Reds 13-12. So I said 14-11. If they end up 13-12, I'd say that's pretty dang good. Also, let's say that they split these next two, and they end up being 12-13. Of course, that would be killer. You finish one game under 500 in the month of April, but that's still salvageable. You still haven't shot yourself in the foot. The Reds have been known to bury themselves by the end of April. They're 3 games back in the division, and I don't trust the Cardinals. Somehow the Pirates are ahead of the Reds right now at 12-11. Got to give the Pirates credit, though, because we talked about their low payroll. We talked about how they're just total trash, that they're a minor league team pretending to be a major league team. Well, they're ahead of the Reds right now, and they're ahead of the Cubs. How do you think that makes Cubs fans feel? So there you go. So Reds Dodgers coming up. Matt Sturgeon on Facebook. Again, we're live on Facebook. He says go Reds, sending in the positive vibes for the Reds. And of course, I like this right here. Scott Campbell watching us live on YouTube. He says, hey, Justin, talk bad about the Reds so they can complete the sweep of the Dodgers. Let's go Reds, because everyone knows when I talk positively about a team, that team plays bad. And then when I talk smack about a team, that team plays really well. Every time I bash the Reds, if I bash a player, that player always gets a hit that night. I'm going to find a player in the lineup to bash. I guarantee you that. I'm going to find the weakest hitter in the lineup, Suarez.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk some mad smack about Suarez to close out the show today, and I promise you he's going to have a great hitting day today. That's just how it's the curse of the Kinner, but I'm going to use my evil powers for good. It's just you got to learn how to channel them. With great power comes great responsibility. And
Spider-Man.
Yes, I'm going to learn how to do that. All right, we'll step away for a few moments. On the other side, big news out of the NFL today. Big trade that is going to impact tomorrow's first round of the NFL draft. 2 teams that we weren't sure what their plans were at quarterback moving forward might have been cleared up, or did it get more dicey? It involves the Broncos. It involves the Panthers. And now what is next for both of these teams as they sit in the top 10 and they might have a quarterback or 2 drop in their lap? Will they take them? We'll talk about the trade that has set up the chaos as we head into round 1 of the NFL draft tomorrow. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with rain, likely a high near 80. Tonight's going to be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, a low near 64. And tomorrow's going to be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, a high near 73. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at culletsealcoating.com.
Ready for renovations? Arts Rental Equipment has the tools you need to make your home, lawn, and garden stand out this year. From brush chippers to cutoff saws, no job is too small or too big. Visit your local Arts store today. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven. It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you could pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Hi, my name is Brian Sommers, and I'm an attorney with Kirkland and Sommers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, we're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland and Sommers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsummers.com. That's Summers with an O, kirklandandsummers.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Have you ever thought about having a podiatric physician examine your feet? Doctors of Podiatric Medicine set broken bones, perform wound care, and remove bunions. Common health issues that they treat include ingrown or fungal nails, corns, warts, and skin problems like athlete's foot. Foot exams are easy and can prevent many problems. If you can't walk, work, or enjoy sports activities without pain, what are you waiting for? To find a podiatric physician who is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Are you looking for a quick and delicious home-style meal your entire family will love? At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with a 10-piece breast strip meal for only $19.99. Feed your family famously with 10 all-white meat breast strips cooked golden brown to perfection with 2 large sides and 5 fluffy biscuits. This home-style family meal is what cravings are made of. Get a home-style meal made easy with our 10-piece breast strip meal for only $19.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Does it feel like finding clothes in your fit is impossible? Tired of feeling overwhelmed with options that just aren't right? Let the experts at Stitch Fix do the shopping for you. At Stitch Fix, we make sure each piece is hand-selected for your life. So whether you're staying home or on the go, Stitch Fix has the answer for what to wear. We make it easy to find what works for you. Signing up takes just a few minutes, and styles are delivered directly to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Do you have a home improvement project? Use the right tool for the job and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. Arts has the best selection from power washers and ladders to loaders and dump trailers. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
And paid for by Complete Car Care.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to the COVID crisis, we are announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay nothing for auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-549-1985 now. Drivers who are covered by this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair bill again. This auto coverage is at an all-time low, much lower than what dealerships are charging. Additionally, drivers who activate this auto coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free rental car at no additional cost. Call for your free quick quote today. 800-549-1985. 800-549-1985. What do you have to lose? Again, 800-549-1985.
Unlimited audio streaming is yours with Audible Plus. Enjoy thousands of select Audible originals, audiobooks, podcasts, and more. Sign up for a free Audible Plus trial at audible.com.
The Reds are on the radio. Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, everybody, we are back. I'm Justin Kinner with Kev Nash hanging out with you here on a Wednesday. We got Reds baseball coming up. Reds-Dodgers. Reds looking to complete the sweep of the Dodgers, the defending World Series champions. And, of course, it's not just the defending World Series champs. They've actually been playing really good baseball, one of the best teams in baseball, one of the most stacked rosters in the last 20 years. I mean, you got to go back to when those Yankees teams were put together in the early, late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, that's how stacked this Dodgers team is, and they're not even playing with some of their top players right now. That's how stacked this Dodgers team is. So for the Reds to be taking a 7-game losing streak on the road on the West Coast where they play horrible to go up against a team like the Dodgers, this could have been that series that buried them. They had lost, they were 9-12. They had lost 7 straight. They could have potentially been 9-15, and then a game with the Cubs on Friday, 9-16 to close out the month. I mean, that's, your season's not done, but that's about as bad as it can get considering how good it started. But the Reds have been able to kind of sit out the storm a little bit. This is a big one coming up today. I think they desperately need this. I mean, they still have a chance to finish above 500 in the month of April, so keep that in mind. But we'll get back into that again. We'll hand it off to Tommy Thrall and the Cowboy at 3:40, 20 minutes from now. But a lot of news out of the NFL today, Kev. Let's start with this one. This one was not really surprising, but we've talked a lot about, Baker Mayfield, the Browns picking up his 5th-year option. And, of course, he'll get guaranteed $18 million coming up in 2022.
Payday.
Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, picked up his 5th-year option, or at least their coach Harbaugh said that they fully intend to, or that they definitely will pick up his 5th-year option. So that's a guarantee right there. So a lot of 5th-year options are being picked up from that 2018 draft class. One name that was taken in that draft class was Billy Price, 18th overall pick by the Cincinnati Bengals. Now he's going to become a free agent at the end of this season because the Bengals have announced that they will not pick up his 5th-year option. He is the first player from that draft to not have his option picked up at this point.
Yeah, man, it's too bad for Billy Price. Things didn't work out with him in Cincinnati, but you know what? He has the opportunity still to play this season and make a way for himself with somebody else. And you know what? Just because they're not picking up his option doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to be with Cincinnati Bengals next year. Maybe at obviously a lower price, but he still has this season to prove himself and to make sure that he can put out some more good film to potentially be picked up by another team.
Yeah, when I said the 18th pick, I'm sorry, he was picked in 2018. It was the 21st overall pick, but anyways, nitpicking there. But Billy Price, he started about 10 games at center in his rookie season, and then he started just 9 games overall at the offensive line since his rookie season. Right. He only got 1 start last year, and I think it was the game they got a win too. I forgot who they beat. They only had 4 wins last year. I forgot who they beat. That was his only start of the season. Not necessarily saying it was because of him, but it wasn't a bad game. It was against the Titans. That's right. It was against the Titans. So with that being said, it's going to be like he could end up playing his way back into a contract with the Bengals too. So keep that in mind. But again, there was a lot of if they would have picked up his 5th-year contract, I believe $10 million would have been guaranteed. Ooh. And the Bengals were not about to put $10 million into a guy that really they don't have a lot of use for. They would love to figure out a way to use him. Frank Pollock's going to have his work cut out for him and trying to find a way to resalvage that pick from 2018. By the way, and I've said this before, we talked about it with Trey Wingo yesterday, that was not a bad pick.
Right.
That they needed a center. He was the best center in that draft. Any team that needed a center was going to select Billy Price. And I don't look at the bank. I don't, maybe you could criticize them and say, well, it's not who they pick, it's what they're doing with the picks after. That's always been the next big thing to question with Cincinnati. But no, I don't think that was a bad pick. You needed a center, and you picked a center, the best center in the draft. It didn't work out. Was that because Billy Price is just not as good as you thought, or did the Bengals play a role in not developing him properly? That's going to be something that everyone's always going to question. But if you're a Buckeye fan, of course it has to be that the Bengals did not develop him properly because there's no way that he just wasn't good, correct?
Absolutely.
So,
Bucks.
A lot of NFL news. How about this? The Julio Jones. The Falcons are looking to move on from Julio Jones, but they cannot do it until later in June. So there's talks of maybe one of these wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, this wide receiver is yours. Here's the player that we want. We can't officially swap the picks for the player. But we could at least put in your ear what player we want and then be able to swap it out later at a later time. Something to keep an eye on as far as that goes. By the way, an elite wide receiver available. I was told you can't find elite wide receivers anywhere. That's why it's so important to take Jamar Chase, because there's just no way you can get elite wide receivers out there. And they're set. I could see the Falcons taking Kyle Pitts at 4. I know it's a tight end. It's a tight end. It's not replacing Julio Jones, but Calvin Ridley's been fantastic, and there's still a lot of wide receiver depth here that then get one in a later round if they need to. But I'm curious to see where the Falcons go. Are they going to take a quarterback at number 4, take Kyle Pitts at number 4? Matt Ryan's not young, or he's not old.
Right.
Not young, but he's not old. You could still get, like the NFL, Kev, everything needs to be in 3-year blocks anyways. And if you're Matt Ryan was not bad last year. The Falcons were bad. Matt Ryan, statistically, was one of the top quarterbacks last year, statistically, okay? But his offensive line is going to be better, more healthy. Guys opted out the year before. But now, if you end up moving on from Julio Jones and getting additional pieces back, but if you get a guy like Kyle Pitts, you already have Calvin Ridley, get a running back, enhance the run game. I think the Falcons could be in very good shape as far as being explosive offensively. They just got to worry about that defense, though.
Julio Jones, the guy that he's always going to be linked to since his college days down in the SEC is A.J. Green. And they came into the league together. They tore up the league together. They both played in the SEC. They're both the same age. And we saw that wear and tear really start to take place on A.J. Green this past season where he didn't have that explosiveness. Now, Julio is still explosive out there, but he's still getting banged up a ton. Those feet, those ankles, those toes, turf toe, and those type of things, those are nagging injuries that take away your explosiveness and take away your speed. Can he link on with somebody else and take them over the top? But that's a lot of money. He still owed a lot of money. So I don't know if the Ravens, I don't know if anybody else is willing to, cough up a pick and have to pay him a lot of money at that age.
Well, his value just shot up as well because of this next storyline out of the NFL today. A lot happening. And that Julio Jones thing, that news broke 2 days ago. We're just now getting to it in my notes, but nonetheless, Antonio Brown was one of the bigger name free agent wide receivers still available. He is no longer available. He signs an $8 million deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on another 1-year deal. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are bringing back all 22 starters from that Super Bowl team. It's never happened it's never happened in the modern era in regards to how rosters are structured with, of course, the cap and everything else. So I'm butchering that. I can't remember how they worded it, but nonetheless, it's very unique. It does not happen, and I do find this very interesting. I mean, look, I think Antonio Brown was third in total receiving yards on the Buccaneers last year, and he only played 8 games in the regular season because he was suspended for the first half. I think Antonio Brown now, I mean, you saw how much of a factor he was, not just in the back half of the season. Everyone kept saying, he ended up being horrible. He didn't bring anything to the table. He was third in total receiving yards and third in touchdowns on the team, and he only played half a season. So imagine getting a full season out of him. Imagine him coming into camp fully rested, having a full training camp, having a full off season, no distractions. He's putting out some of those fires that he had started a few years ago. I think this could be huge for the Bucs because I don't even think we saw the best version of their offense yet. I think we started to see him click in the playoffs, even though they had that horrible game against the Packers that Tom Brady somehow found a way to escape with a win. But you know what I mean? Like some of these pieces that were kind of chunked together during a pandemic, not that the pandemic's no longer here, but there's going to be way more on the field time for these guys to gel on top of coming off of a Super Bowl. I think the Buccaneers are going to be even more scary in 2021 than what they were last year when they won the Super Bowl.
Very scary. I mean, we talked about that Tom Brady magic and that belief factor. Well, you got a ton of guys out there taking less money, not just one or two. You got multiple guys. You got guys restructuring their contract to make another run at a Super Bowl, to try to go back to back. And none of that would happen without Tom Brady. So the magic that Tom Brady possesses to talk people into taking less and less money is magical, and it's almost as magical as the things that he does on the football field at his age. So props to Tom Brady. I hope y'all lose every single game.
One more piece of NFL news, and right? I mean, but they are fun to watch. People hate dynasties, but I'm telling you, that's what moves the needle. And last year, having Tom Brady against Patrick Mahomes, the Bucs against the Chiefs, that's what you want. And we might be back on. I mean, it's going to be another super team out of the AFC this year. The Browns and the Bucs are going to be in the Super Bowl this year, baby. How about Saquon Barkley is on track to start the season. He's just a guy that cannot stay healthy, but when he's on the field, definitely a dynamic playmaker. But this was the big news out of the NFL today, Kev, the biggest news, and this is going to have a huge impact as we head into tomorrow night's NFL draft, the first round. The Carolina Panthers have traded quarterback Teddy Bridgewater to the Denver Broncos for a 6th-round pick in this weekend's NFL draft. So they get a draft pick. Teddy Bridgewater Bridgewater is worth a 6th-round draft pick. One thing you and I talked about, I felt like he's been around forever. You looked it up. He's not an old quarterback. Like, he actually has a lot of good years of football left, but what does good mean? How good is Teddy Bridgewater? He just seems to be passed around from team to team because no one is willing to commit to him long term.
Yeah, he's only 28 years old. We talked about his days in Minnesota that got cut short with that horrific leg injury. He goes the quote-unquote rehabilitation route down there with the Saints, cashes in with a good contract after starting 5 games for the Saints and then playing good football. And now the Panthers are already ready to move on for him for a 6th-round pick. Now he has another chance to play with the Broncos. We're going to see.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. The reason this is significant is because the Denver Broncos have the number 9 pick. All right. The Carolina Panthers have the number 8 pick, but they also have already traded back. They were able to get Sam Darnold away from the Jets. So it looks like the Panthers are set at quarterback. Denver, it had appeared that if Justin Fields or a quarterback would drop to number 9, whether it's Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, or whoever, a lot of talks of Denver could potentially go that route. This potentially shuts the door there. If you are a team like the Cowboys, or not the Cowboys, if you are a team like the Patriots or Washington or the Bears, who are kind of sitting back a bit, you're looking up now saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we can trade up and we don't have to trade into the top 10 and we can maybe get a top 5 caliber quarterback in Justin Fields or Mac Jones if one of those guys drops back. I think this is interesting. One thing that to keep an eye on, though, Denver has Teddy Bridgewater. Is that an insurance policy of if one of those quarterbacks doesn't fall to them? What happens if Justin Fields is available? Could they still take Justin Fields and then move on from Teddy Bridgewater or move on from Drew Lock? That's going to be the key.
Drew Lock. You definitely move on from Drew Lock if you want to go ahead and grab one of those quarterbacks if they fall to you, and you keep Teddy Bridgewater, a guy that can serve you and keep you relevant in the playoff picture. And then you move on to your young quarterback the following season.
All right. We'll be back in a moment. We have the Reds lineup, Reds-Dodgers. Reds looking to sweep the Dodgers coming up here 9 minutes from now. Plus, an Ohio State wide receiver has entered the transfer portal. We'll talk about that to close out the show when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
With spring approaching, if you're thinking about planting a tree, the Ohio chapter of the International Society of Arboriculture has some tips. Plant trees where they have plenty of room to grow to reduce the need for future pruning, and that includes space for roots to grow. Plant trees that are suitable for your area, and be careful not to plant them too deep. That can be fatal. For more tips on how to properly plant trees or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Save big money on your next project with 11% off everything right now at Menards. Give a beautiful, rich color to your projects with Minwax Wood Finish. Minwax is a penetrating stain that enhances all types of wood. All quarts and gallons are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through May 1st. Savings are mail and rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
With Mother's Day around the corner, now's the time to visit JCPenney's Friends and Family Sale. Get up to 50% off amazing brands she'll love, like Liz Claiborne and Exertion Activewear. Shop gifts from apparel and swimwear to ultra comfy robes. Plus, save even more with an extra 30% off coupon. Celebrate the woman who does it all. JCPenney. Offers and coupons valid through 5/2. Some exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
At Napa, we keep things moving. If it has wheels and an engine, we help keep it on the road. And if it's on the road, we have parts for it. And if you need a part, you can get it fast, like same-day pickup or next-day delivery fast. At Napa, when we're not thinking about cars, we're thinking about the people who drive them. Because when it comes to serving you and our community, our motor never quits. That's Napa know-how. Same-day pickup and next-day delivery available at participating stores and on in-stock items only.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Your home for fun food, sports, and spirits is also the home for value. Frickers Everyday Value begins on Monday with boneless frickin' chicken wings, 69 cents each. Tuesday offers traditional frickin' chicken wings, 69 cents each. On Wednesday, enjoy a steak dinner for $6.99. And Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks for $6.99. Download the Frickers mobile app to receive loyalty points, free food, and order online. Today and every day, the home for everyday values is the home for fun food, sports, and spirits. Frickers.
Hi, Pete Kasuji here to tell you it's time to start thinking green. Get out those shovels and rakes and take advantage of every sunny day this month so you don't have to play catch up next month. Get started on that landscape project you've been thinking about all winter. Plant a tree or a hedge, a flowering shrub, or maybe a few evergreens and ornamental grass around the porch or deck. It's also time to sow our famous green mat grass seed for a lush green lawn this summer. Sow that grass seed now and you'll be mowing by the middle of May. We've got everything you need for a great-looking yard or patio at our 6-acre garden center at 1309 Brant Pike. Come out and see why they call them greenhouses.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City, Ohio is hiring for warehouse positions in all units, which include flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, enhanced starting wages, and $500 sign-on bonus. Interested candidates should call 937-669-9109, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday through Friday, or walk in for an interview. Walk-in interviews are strongly encouraged and available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9109 for an interview. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
Today's pros need today's tools, and nobody understands that better than the Home Depot. Our app makes it simpler to get supplies ordered and delivered. Our online project calculators cut guesswork and last-second supply runs. Job site delivery puts what you need where and when you need it. And rental puts the right equipment in your hands, but not your overhead. That's how today's pros get more done. New tech, new tools, old-fashioned hard work. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Contact 811 at least 48 hours before you dig, and Ohio811.org will notify the utilities to mark underground lines near your projects. It's the law. More info at Ohio811.org.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live, or go back and rewatch previous episodes of The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, The Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we welcome you back. I'm Justin Kidder with Kev Nash. A much shorter show today. In fact, we only have about 2 more minutes with you here before we hand you off to Tommy Thrawn, the Cowboy. Reds-Dodgers coming up. 4:10 will be the first pitch. 3:40 is when we hand it off to the pregame. Reds looking to go for a sweep. They are right now looking to, of course, they put an end to that 7-game losing streak. They have a little 2-game winning streak right now on the road against the defending World Series champion, the Dodgers. How cool would that be for the Reds to complete a sweep as they return home on Friday as they welcome in the last place Chicago Cubs? I always enjoy saying that when I can. Your lineup here this afternoon: Nick Senzel back in center field tonight, leading things off, batting first. Batting second and in left field is Jesse Winker. In right field, batting third is Nick Castellanos. In the cleanup spot, how about this? At first base, Joey Votto. Batting fifth and at shortstop, Eugenio Suarez back in the lineup tonight. He's batting fifth. Batting sixth and at third base is Mike Moustakas. Catching behind home plate tonight and batting seventh is Tyler Stevenson. At second base is Kyle Farmer. He's batting eighth, and batting ninth is your starting pitcher this afternoon, Sonny Gray. One more time: Senzel, Winker, Castellanos, 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, and 6 is Votto, Suarez, and Moustakas. 7, 8, and 9, bottom of the order: Stevenson, Farmer, and Sonny Gray. That is your Reds lineup. Suarez, you're going to be horrible. You're going to have another hitless. You're going to have another hitless day. You are not going to produce anything today. You won't have a hit. You won't have a walk. You won't even have a foul tip. That's how bad you're going to be. Now, you're probably saying, Kenner, what the hell's wrong with you? There's a lot wrong with me. But we've noticed anytime I rip a player or a team, and unless it's the Bengals, they always are bad no matter what I say. But most likely with the Reds, if I say anything bad about them or a player, that player or the Reds always win. I said the Reds were going to get swept. They're about to sweep the Dodgers. I said Votto is horrible, and he's gone on this offensive tear over the last 2 weeks. So, Suarez, you will not come out of your slump. I guarantee it. Can't wait to talk about him coming out of his slump on tomorrow's show. Have a great night, everybody. The NFL draft tomorrow. We cannot wait until tomorrow. It's been the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine.